I'm going to ask Representative Abraham, I think's got some questions. Excuse me, Senator Abraham. I got him. My colleague from home.
It would seem like the only other member of the Lebanese caucus would know exactly what my title is, but I mean, I guess it's okay. Thank
My
you,
apology.
Mr. Chairman. I want to thank y'all for being here. Y'all just so happen to be the tip of the spear, okay? Y'all are the tip of the spear, and that's just the way it is. I wish it was other people besides y'all, but that's what it is. I have another colleague that's said many, many times that words matter. Words do matter. So I want to clarify some of the words I believe that was said here and in meetings yesterday. It's quite obvious that the company has been in a reactive position instead of a proactive position. And I don't think in an emergency situation, you should be more proactive. And it's quite clear that y'all have not been proactive. Now, I understand it's your job to defend your company. That's what you're doing. You're giving statements to defend the integrity of your company. I get that. Our job, my job, I represent Calcasieu Parish. My job is to represent my people and to explain to them what is going on, explain to them that words do matter. So I want to go through some of the words that were spoken so we can kind of clarify it, because I don't want any person watching now or any of my constituents to believe otherwise, okay? For example, you said there was 1,000 workers in the area. Yesterday, a number of times we've asked how many workers in the area. You said 200 or 300. We asked, what were you going to get to? You said 500. So now I hear 1,000. But then I heard 1,000 in the state.
1,000 in the state. I said 1,000 in the state, sir.
Okay, so I want to make it clear that in where the real impacted area, which is Calcasieu Parish in a sense, how many people are there right now?
As I said earlier, 380 are in Calcasieu Parish, with intent by Tuesday to have 450, with additional on the way after that.
Okay. And as we've mentioned, others have mentioned, and I've mentioned it also, because you don't have a clear plan, to me, there should be 1,000, 1,500 people. And at one point, y'all said, well, we can't do that because they would be running over everyone. And then, of course, our response was there was 9,000 Entergy linemen in the area, and they're not running over everyone. So part of the plan that you should be bringing us is, what are you going to do about the number of workers that are going to come here and be boots on the ground, okay?
Well, I know Robbie's going to follow up, but I'll tell you what we are going to do and what we are doing, and that's advocating for more, having seen the damage here for the last 3 weeks. And as I've indicated, that number is going to increase, and we're looking forward to it increasing.
No, and I understand that, and I also understand a lot of people are in business here on this platform. I'm in business for myself. I understand business principles and customers. I understand that there's 3 million people in the tri-state area, wherever that's at in the Northeast. I understand there might only be 250,000 people in Calcasieu Parish. But you know what? It doesn't make them any more important. The Northeast doesn't make them any more important just because there's a bunch of numbers than the 250,000 people that are in Calcasieu Parish. And that's what we're here to talk about, and I'm going to defend, and the people in this committee are going to defend those 250,000 people. They should have the same pro rata service applied to them as the millions in the Northeast. And so we don't care about that. We only care what's happening here. I think you made a comment that 75%, 70% had returned their service. Did y'all make a comment about that? 70%?
Yes, 70% of our customers have service has been restored.
Yeah, and so again, words matter, okay? I don't want to hear the 70% in the state. That makes you look good. I want to hear what's restored in Calcasieu Parish. My understanding is it's like 4% as of possibly yesterday. I don't know what it is now.
It's
Maybe you
11,
can.
that's 11%, Senator.
Ele-
We've made a lot of
11%.
progress in the last 2 days.
So to me, again, as a business person, as someone who has the ability to plan a little bit, having 11% restored after 18 days is really a failing grade. I mean, it doesn't even get average to me. So that's, again, what we're dealing with. And we don't have a concrete written plan, exactly what you're going to do, and you still are not able to tell us when are the majority of the residents going to be restored. You still don't have an answer. The president of Entergy came down a few weeks ago when we didn't know when the power was going to be restored. And he made a comment then, 2 to 3 weeks. They're living by those projections. I still find it hard to believe that after 17 days, or how many days it's been, you still cannot give a prediction of when the majority of residents are going to have internet and businesses have internet. To me, that's a problem.
22 days, Mr. Senator Abraham.
Right,
22
22
days.
days.
Right.
We mentioned the other day in a meeting one of the, and I'm gonna have to call it an excuse. Why hasn't these lines been restored? And one of the reasons was that Entergy hadn't restored the power. Okay, I asked the question. That doesn't make sense to me. What do you mean by restore the power? Why do you need power to restore your lines? I think one of y'all said something about heads in or heads, I don't know what that terminology is, heads in or what?
Oh, head end?
Head in, that you had to have power to your head in. Now again, when the residents hear, oh, well, that's because there wasn't power, is that why they weren't being restored? Well, see, that's not really accurate either, because I asked, why can't you have generator power in that head-in area that you have to have electrical power to monitor your system? And then you told me we can't get a generator. We can't find a generator. And I responded to that question. There's generators all over South Louisiana. You have 1 meg, 2 meg. Hospitals are getting the generators. So again, there's no excuse why you couldn't have generator power at your head in or whatever to make sure that you can restore service. So I want the public to know that we're not going to accept excuses that we didn't have power, because if you would have planned right, you could have had generator power. That's part one. Part two is many of your lines did not have to have power. You could have been restoring those lines from pole to pole with more people, with 1,000, 1,500 people. So I just want to point out that we cannot have excuses that the general public believes is the situation, because they're going to ask me more questions. They're going to ask me the same questions that I'm asking you. So I have to give them the response. It's not about power. It's not 70% of the people have internet service. It's only 12% or whatever you said. So this is a critical situation, and you talk about not wanting to be regulated. This performance is forcing us to look at things in regulation. And I told this to y'all yesterday. I contacted a government relations person from the White House, and they called. I don't know who they call. I'll find out. I was supposed to, but I didn't today. And again, your excuse to them was the reason why you haven't improved service is because you had no electrical power. They bought that. That White House guy bought that, but I'm not buying it, and neither the residents. So I think that you're going to have to come with a little bit better plan to do what you have to do to restore internet service in this area for people to believe that you're on top of this, because right now they don't. And I said the other day that you're losing thousands and thousands of customers. I do understand that possibly you're not the decision makers, and you have to take, you're the point of the spear, you have to take the brunt of the action. There's nothing I can do about that. That's your company's decision. But answers need to be provided, because this is not going away. And hopefully in the next week or two, we're not going to have the same responses that we've had the last 6 or 7 days. So anyway, I just wanted to give you that brief overview as I see it. and I'll yield to other members who have questions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Abraham.